Leanne. Welcome to another video on my art channel. Today we're going to fill in a color chart for the Neocolor II water-soluble wax pastels. These are by Karen Dash. I use these quite a bit in my art, and I've never made a color chart yet for them. And so I've gathered all the colors, and yeah, so we're going to swatch this out and take a look at all the colors I have and test them out. These are water soluble, so I have a water brush. I'm just going to wet each swatch that I do so I can see the dry version and the wet version, because I use them both in both ways. And yeah, they look they don't look too different, except with the water you get a smooth gradient or a smooth blend, and when they're used dry they look more like a crayon. So they're pretty flexible, pretty versatile, but let's get started. So as I mentioned, I am using a color chart that I created with all of the colors of the Neocolor II wax pastels. There's two versions. There's a Neocolor I and Neocolor II. These are the water soluble ones. I've seen charts that have, I think it's like 84 colors, because when you buy the sets of Neocolors, they come in different sets and sizes, and the biggest size I think is like 82 or 84, but this one has 116 and then the extra 10 metallic colors across the bottom. If you do want to pick up your own copy, I'll have a link in the description below. It's just in my online shop, and you can get a PDF copy and you can print it out on your favorite paper. So I am using just basic cardstock for I guess it's by Staples. It's just their white label brand. Normally, if I were doing a medium that is important to the paper that I'm using, if I'm swatching watercolor, for example, I want to print the charts out on the paper that I use to make my watercolor with, so I can get a very true to life color swatch. But for this, I don't think it really matters. These are pretty opaque and hold up on their own as it is. And we're gonna get swatching. I've never even looked at the colors I have, so I'm really excited. Let's do the first one. I'm gonna be jumping all around the board because I think I'm just going to pick from this pile. And I've got a paper towel and a water cup here just in case I need a little extra water out of my water brush. Yeah, so let's check the first one. So I guess to pick a color to start, let's go with this one. It's pretty new. So the names are here on the wrapper, and the names are usually written in 3 languages. There's French and maybe German. I'm thinking that second one is German. I'm not 100%, but that would be my guess. And the bottom one is English. So this one is turquoise blue, and it should have a number, and I'm going to guess that it's the number here, this code at the bottom or at the back here, the last 3 digits. All of the charts have 3-digit codes for the colors, so I'm assuming that this one is 171. So let's check on the chart and see if we can find this one. Okay, so our first color is 171, and that's exactly how to find it. So on the color chart, I'm just going to put this on dry and put it down in a pretty opaque layer. These are opaque to begin with, but I mean just with some good coverage. And then I just want to use a bit of water, and I'm just going to wet the end of it, because like this is just showing here, you can get a nice kind of gradient blending out to nothing. I like that it shows how it can gradiate out and how smooth it looks when it has the water on it. Yeah, so that's the first one. I also have a circle on the chart if you want to mark like you want to buy that one, or if you need to buy a replacement, maybe you want to put a little mark on it. So I put little circles here. Another thing you could do is you could put this chart into a plastic sleeve when you've got it printed, kind of like the page protectors, and you might be able to use something like a dry erase marker where you could mark on top of it, and then you could just erase it if you happen to pick up that color. This next one is called Light Fast Orange, and it is number 300 on the color chart. So I'll put a nice swatch in here. This one is just maybe because it's new, it seems super creamy. I mean, I do keep them in the container, like the closed box, so they shouldn't get a lot of air. I don't know the air would really bother them too much, but they are nice and soft. Let's blend this one out. I think I might need just a little bit. I want to make this go out a bit more. I'll put that over and then blend that. I'm getting kind of like a hard line. I don't want to have a hard line on this. There we go. That's looking better. And that's very pretty. This one is 069 Burnt Sienna, and this is a newer color for me. I don't think I've used this much, maybe once or twice at the most. I normally buy really bright colors, and I've been trying to expand my palette a little bit, and so I've added some more like traditional colors and some muted tones. I mean, brown, this brown's pretty rich. It's not really muted per se, but it's definitely more of a traditional color. I feel like it doesn't take much water to make these blend out, and my water brush seems to just love to drop water, so I don't want to make it too runny. Well, that looks good. The next color is, let's see, I'm gonna grab this one, a jade green, and it is number 211. Okay, so this one is jade green. I use this one quite a bit. I really like this. I think just because it's green, but it's got a nice blue base to it. I really like how it looks. It adds some interesting pops of color to some shadows. It's so pretty. This one is Olive Brown 039, and this is another newer color for me, another one of those earthy tones that I was trying to pick up and just kind of add to my collection. I didn't realize when I was making this chart that there were so many different colors in this series. I thought maybe, I knew there wasn't as many as like a typical art set would have, like colored pencil or something, but I was thinking it was more like maybe 50 or 60, but I'm quite surprised. I think we've got 126. I don't think I'll be buying all those colors, but you never know, you never know. Art supplies are addicting. This one is, okay, this one's another favorite. 071 is Salmon Pink, and I use this quite a lot. That's so pretty. I do find when I use these, I don't put them on until I'm done my watercolor painting because they're opaque and they pretty much are the most prevalent thing on the page when you lay them down. So they're not transparent like watercolor per se. So I do want to make sure that when I am putting them down that they're not, that there's nothing that needs to go over top of them because I'm probably not going to be able to lay it down and get it to stay. And this one is Lemon Yellow, number 240. This is probably a color I use mostly when I have yellow on my watercolor painting, and if I find that I've covered it up or it's gotten muddy, I'll put a little bit of this color over top just to help bring back that color and help it show bright and saturated from the original painting. Because sometimes watercolors blend together and I get impatient and lay down other colors before they're dry and they bleed together. But this helps restore that color a bit. And because it's more opaque, it definitely holds up. This one is 111. It's called Mauve, or Mauve, some people say. I say Mauve. I've heard both though. Tomato, tomato. That's really pretty. I just got scared because I couldn't find this color and I thought I forgot one, but it's actually a metallic, so it'll be down in the bottom bar across the base here. So this one is color 499 and it is gold. And it just has like a hint of metallic to it. It's not overly metallic. It's more on the olive green side versus like a warm gold. Well, not a warm gold, like a brown gold. But it does show, like when you put it down with the other colors, it does give a bit of hint of metallic. Even though it's not overly metally looking, overly glittery or anything. The pigment, the glitter in the pigment's very fine. Okay, and this one is 661 Light Cobalt Blue, and that goes right here. It is super light. This is another new color for me. I find that this one works really nice in highlights to bring in, instead of always just doing white highlights, it adds a bit of interest. I think this would be a really pretty color for clouds. It's so soft. It's really pretty. And this one is 229 and it's dark green. It's a very much like an emeraldy forest green. It's very pretty. It'd be a nice fall color as well. And you could probably carry this into Christmas and evergreen trees and that kind of thing. It's very, very pigmented and super saturated. More so when the water hits it and it's thinned out a bit. You can really see the core colors in it. And this one is 090 and it's called Purple, just straight up purple, but I find that this one is more of a magenta, a purpley magenta, maybe even a bit of a fuchsia mix. It's definitely more on the red side than the blue side for purple. Like on a pink color almost. But again, it's really pretty. I definitely, if I was pulling a purple color, I don't think I would think of this one. And the next one is kind of a broken crayon for me. I'm just going to use the tip of it because I do have that. I saved it. Yeah, so this is 231 and it's lime green. I use this one quite a bit. And actually, because the tip part is broken off, the edges on the back are very sharp. And I often use those to get fine detail as well. These crayons are very expensive. And I think at my local art store, they push around $7 or $8. I don't buy them there. I usually buy them from Jackson's Art because they'll have good sales. And I think on Jackson's, they're more like $5, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. They're not as expensive, but I seen a sale on the other day on Jerry's Artorama, and they were on sale for around $2, like $1 something. They were cut, I think the regular price is something like $2, and it was cut in half. It was just crazy cheap, so I may try ordering from there next time, depending on shipping for Canada. The next color I grabbed is actually right beside it, and it is this turquoise green, and this one is number 191. It's another broken crayon for me, so I'm going to be very careful and just use the front part of the crayon. I've got some color in here on it. I'm going to see if I can take that off on my napkin. I've been really pushing this color, I think, because it's got some other colors in it, but for the most part, we can see what that color looks like. I think it's coming out nicer there. It's got a little bit of purple in it or something. I think I picked up some purple somewhere. I'm going to put a little bit more down in this water. There we go. Oh, that's really pretty. And this one is saturated, but not as saturated as some of the other colors we've seen. This one is color 100, and it is Purple Violet. And that one goes right here, and it's another one of those purple colors that look more like a magenta. This one, I think I lost, a piece of it broke. I think I dropped it on the floor. These do not do well if you drop them. Just be very careful because they will break and splinter and shatter, which is so sad when that happens because they're so pretty and they're so expensive. Yeah, so you have to be very careful. Don't do what I did. Next up is 249. This is olive, and this one looks kind of like the metallic gold that we did. But it's a little bit darker and a little bit of green, a stronger hint of green. Sometimes I get those two colors mixed up when I'm grabbing them out of my color box, and I'll grab the wrong one and accidentally put metallic on something that I mean to make green, or vice versa. This one is 140 and it's ultramarine. You can see what you think and see if you feel that it looks like a true ultramarine. I feel like it's a little bit more brighter blue. I feel like ultramarine would be a little bit like a deeper saturation. I'm gonna put a little bit more down though. That's why the color swatches are helpful for just getting the right shades. And the color charts are helpful too, because you can see which ones you have. And what you could do is once you have your color chart filled in, you could take a picture and keep it on your phone. So if you're at shopping, you can just quickly reference the chart that's filled in at home and know which ones you have so you don't buy doubles. And this one's orange 030 on the color chart. That is so super pretty. Very saturated, really nice. It's always exciting when you have a color that's next to another color on the chart, and especially if they're not the same color, they don't look too similar, but this one is 139 indigo blue, and I really love this color, but I don't use it too much. It is very dark, and so it really has a special place where it belongs when you use it. It's got a nice purple base. It's so, so pretty. But this is one of those ones that looks a lot different when it is wet versus using it straight dry. It definitely has more of a blue color when it's dry, and then really brings it that purple with the water. This next one is vermilion, and it is number 060 on the chart. I think this chart's going to be really pretty when it's all colored in. I use this quite a bit too. I have a core watercolor that's similar to this shade, so they complement each other really nicely. And this one's not too far away, just a few corners over, kitty corner to that last one. 099, and this is aubergine. This is another really pretty color, but again, it's one of those colors that I really have to have a specific place to put it because it is pretty dark. But I love the color. I love how warm it is, and it's just really pretty. Yeah, that's really nice. And this one is 190, and it is called Greenish Blue. I'm just going to double check on the label because it was printed in a different spot, and the lettering is black on the wrapper, and the letter or the label's dark, so it's really hard to see. I'm just making sure this one is correct, and it is. This is 190 Greenish Blue. This is another one of my tragedies that ended up on the floor in pieces. This is 081 Pink, and the tip is broken, and it's broken inside the wrapper, so I have to be very careful and hold it tight when I color with it, but I'm trying so hard to keep it held together as long as I can. I use this color quite a bit too. It's very, very pretty. I'm gonna rinse my brush before I put some water on this just to make sure it comes out nice and clean, because it is a light color. Oh, it's so, so pretty. That's really nice. This one is 521, and it is Sahara Yellow. And I haven't used this color too much. This is a newer one to me as well, but it was more on the muted side. I was trying to tone down some of the colors in my palette. And I think the toned down colors will be nice going into fall, just not to have those bright saturated colors that probably would lend better to summer. It's a nice warm yellow. We're getting down to the bottom of the box. Just a few colors left. This one is 497, and it's bronze. It's another metallic one, and it's going to be in that bottom line on the chart. Really, really pretty. It's really nice. And this one is the last one in the chart. It is 730 Chinese Green. Not the last colored or crayon that I have, put the last one in the chart sequence before the metallics begin. This one is 161 light blue. I have to say it's so much fun coloring in the chart, just playing with all my different art colors. And I'm excited to take a look at the end and see them all together. I think they'll be so nice. It might be, too, easier to see which colors that I'm missing based on having the chart filled out. Sometimes it's hard to tell when they're all in the box. You don't really think about the ones you don't have. And this one's 280 Ruby Red. This one isn't too exciting. It might not even show up, but I'm going to try it anyways. I have 001 white. And I think if I don't, yeah, it's not really showing, obviously. I might just put a little check mark or something on this one just so I can know that I have it. And this one is 130, and it is royal blue. When I started out using these products, I think I started only with maybe 5 or 6. I picked a few colors that I thought I would use a lot. Some darker colors, some lighter colors, but more like base crayon box colors. And I just kind of grew my collection from there. I don't feel like I have a lot still, but I have enough that at this point I don't feel like I'm suffering from missing any, but I'm sure I will be buying some more. This one is 230 Yellow Green. Got a lot of the greens over here. I buy a lot of green. For some reason, it's not my favorite color, but when I buy paints, I always gravitate towards green, which is pretty funny. Because I don't really love green. I like green, I love it, but I buy a lot of green. This one almost has like a blue undertone. And I don't think I've ever noticed that before. And just swatching it out like this on the white, I can see it now. It's so pretty. Okay, we're down to the last color in the box, and it's gonna fill in this column nicely. Number 131, Periwinkle Blue. And if I were to say, I would pick this as a purple. Definitely not a periwinkle. Periwinkle would be more blue, less of this red, I guess, but really pretty nonetheless. Okay, there we have it. There's the entire chart filled in. It looks so good, and I can see the colors I have and the colors that I need, and I think I have a good selection. If I were to pick any that I'm missing, I'm not really sure. I think more of like a cherry red would be nice to have in this, and maybe some more neutral tones, maybe like some tans or some yellow ochres, that kind of thing. But I really like how it's looking. It feels a little bare over in this corner, so, or this side, so maybe there's some colors that I could fill in. There's a lot of grays in this column and blacks. Maybe there's some like bluish grays that might be nice to pick up. And I'm gonna put everything back in this container. So I got this container at Michael's. It was super cheap, and I just lined it with paper towel so it could protect these a little bit because they're super fragile, and they do mark up anything they touch. So with the paper towel, I just make sure it lips the edge a little bit so it's not going to make too much of a mess. And outside of that, I don't really keep them in any particular order or like any color, like grid or anything like that. My box is getting a little full though, so I feel like I'm probably going to need to if I get more, I'm probably going to need to get another one of these containers, or maybe see, I don't know if I want a bigger one. I really like the size of this one, but I could probably get 2. Yeah, there we go. And again, it's like, it seals pretty nicely, so I think it keeps the air out of them and keeps them in pretty good shape. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and enjoyed seeing the colors that I have. And it's always nice to see swatches of them, because then you can see what the colors are really like on the paper and decide if that's the color you want. And you can write it down and maybe add it to your art order for sure. I mean, it's super tempting, isn't it? Again, if you'd like to get this chart, I do have this in my shop. I'll link it in the space below. And I also have a few other color charts. Right now I have a Pitt Artist Pen by Faber-Castell chart, and I also have a Copic marker chart for the sketch markers. As I throw them across my desk, these ones here. So I think actually the chart would work for any of the Copic series. The sketch, I believe, has the highest, like the widest range of colors. So even if you have like the chows or anything, you could still use that chart to color in the colors. They are the same name. If there's a color chart that you would like to see, let me know in the description below. I'm making a whole bunch, and mostly I'm just going through the supplies that I have, but if there's one that you'd like particularly, just let me know and I can look at making something for that as well. Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And subscribe so you're notified the next time I post a video to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Just a note too, I have a new membership set up on the channel. You don't miss out if you're not a member, so don't feel pressured that you need to join. But if you wanted to help support the channel, you can by subscribing, and it gives you early access to videos. So if I'm uploading a video, it will get released to you first, and you'll get to see it before it goes live a few days later to the rest of the world. And if you post a comment in the description or in the video comments, you'll have a little seagull badge beside your name. You'll get a special seagull depending on your membership, and you get some fun emotes as well that I've made that you can use in your comments. Yeah, so be sure to check that out. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.